Hi everyone, I'm Jim Carroll and I'm online here with Eric Rete in our Day in the Life series of Acumatica. When we start off, we like to reinforce the fact that Acumatica is millennial friendly and feature rich, that it includes what we like to refer to as an automated 24/7 behind the scenes employee that does many tasks at no charge to the user. And finally, that it takes full advantage of the Internet of Things. Today, we're going to focus on an Acumatica day in the life in the use of generic inquiries, one of the many powerful reporting tools that Acumatica provides. And I'll now turn it over to Eric, who will describe our dashboards and how they relate to generic inquiries. Eric?
Thank you, Jim. First of all, when looking at dashboard, we see these tiles, and all behind the scene, the dashboard is composed of generic inquiries. So we'll look at the final result first, and then we'll look at how it's made.
Perfect.
So when I click on any of these tiles or graphic, what I will obtain is a list. And
so that was an overdue accounts receivable tile that was in red, and I clicked on it, and now I see this generic inquiry. Is that correct, Eric?
Yes, this is the generic inquiry. So you see, this is a list of all the customers with their corresponding balances and the overdue amounts. And we can look at the bottom where we see the sum. So we have the sum for this column, the sum of this column. So with generic inquiry, I could also add a sum or an average amount of the overdue amount or any of the columns that have numbers in it. So I can
just
have
like Excel.
Totals. Just like Excel, exactly.
Perfect.
And then also you can notice that it's color-coded. So we have, for example, in that example, when it's credit hold, when a customer is on credit hold, then automatically the field turns red. So we have to pay attention to these to these customers, sorry.
And is that the reason that the widget that you, on the dashboard, when you did it, it was red? Because these guys are on credit hold, is that correct? Or are they overdue?
No, because you have more overdue customers. Like this customer is also overdue, but it's not red yet because I didn't change the status. But if I would want to change the status of everybody that is overdue, then what I could do a filter, and I can tell the system is greater than 0 as an example. So I would have all my customers that have an overdue balance, and I can select the ones that I want to change their statuses, like this, and go to Action, Update, and from that list, I don't have to go in every customer maintenance or file to change the status. I can do that in bulk. And if I refresh, then I have more customers on credit hold, right?
Great.
So the status are changed, and I can do that to put them back active. So let's say that they promise me some check in the mail, then I can turn back their statuses to active, so we can have other sales orders that will be entered.
In my understanding, on some of these setups like this, you can set it up so that it's automatic, and that an individual can override. But you can set it up automatic so that the tile, as an example, would change a color from red to green, and whether or not it went on credit hold would be also activated, which is that 7x24 no-cost employee behind the scenes. Is that correct?
Sure. Yes, because when I go in design mode for the dashboard, one thing that I need to do is select the generic inquiry that will be used for that to display that tile, and then after that I've got my level. So as soon as I have more than 100, then it turns yellow, and if I have more than 200, then it turns red. So I can change these numbers. So as soon as the system detects that it's more than 100, then the system but below 200, then the system will change the color of that tile to yellow.
Clever.
So going back to my generic inquiry, I also have side panels. So side panels, if I would want to see what are the invoices that make up to that balance, then I will be able to click here, and at the bottom here I can see all the invoices that makes up this balance for that customer. If I change
and that's just for ABC Capital Ventures, is that correct?
Right. Because if I change row, for example, I select this row, then these numbers will change accordingly.
Oh, because I've gone to active staffing service versus Capital Ventures. Got it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And if you find it too hard to see, then you can expand that so that you have the full screen, the full screen displayed full.
Got it.
You can also change. You can have different views or different side panels according to what you need. So an example here would be the customer maintenance. So I've got this customer, so I want to have a list of customers to call. Then I have it here, so I can move to the other one. The benefit of having that instead of having the phone number here is that I can take note. So I can take note of what happened. So this customer promises blah blah blah. So I can take note as I go, and that will be saved in the customer maintenance. So I can.
And you could also update contacts and etc. from here instead of bouncing around in Acumatica. Got it. So it saves a lot of keystrokes. That's great.
Right, and I can print report, send a customer statement directly from here. So it's very, very useful to have these side panels.
Excellent.
Another thing that I can.
And you mentioned a lot of. Yep. Go ahead.
Is to export in Excel. So I have this list. I can export it to Excel. So when I click on it, then I have this Excel spreadsheet that will be generated. And as you can see, numbers are numbers. So if I do a sum, for example, it's really easy. You don't have to change the layout, and is what you see is what you get. So if you change, because what you can do as well in Acumatica is change the orders of the columns. So if I want to have this status column at that position, then I can do it just by dragging and dropping. If I want to remove some columns, I can do it as well. So if I want to remove the 30, 60 days for whatever reason, then I can remove it. So then it makes my life easier and can change the layout. So when I export to Excel, only the columns that are shown on my screen will be transferred over to Excel. Same thing for the filter. So look at the top. You have different tabs for that screen. So it just filters whatever data I have. So I have a list of all credit hold customers. Then I can do it very
good. And then my understanding, Eric, is we won't go into it, but you could also set up an Excel template and then go into Excel, hit the refresh data button, and without even going into Acumatica, Excel itself would refresh. Is that true?
Correct. Yes. So Excel is connected as soon as you export the data once from a generic inquiry, then there is a link between Excel and Acumatica, so that when you refresh in Excel the data, it automatically goes back in Acumatica, ask for the new data, then bring that data into Excel, so you have the Excel spreadsheet to refresh with the new data.
Yeah, once again, saving time for the end user and exploiting the Internet of Things, if you will, this kind of integration. Does the generic inquiry talk also to Power BI and other dashboard type technologies?
Yes. So if I customize that generic inquiry, so Acumatica comes with over 600 reports and generic inquiries, and and you can modify them all, and can create new versions of the reports a new generic inquiry just by copy and pasting as a new generic inquiry. And you can expose all the data to your mobile app that Acumatica includes with the system, and that mobile app is compatible with iOS and Android phones. And you can also expose that to OData, which can be used afterwards in Power BI or Tableau.
Great. So
if you want to filter very quickly, you have a special key. And if you press Shift F, then you will. I was on the active button, so now I have all the active customers. The status are active, so I can save that and give a name and share a configuration, so my colleagues will have access to it.
Can you explain to me that we also have pivot table capability? Is that correct?
Yeah, pivot table is another great feature of this generic inquiry. So let's look at another example to demonstrate this feature. So let's look at the orders.
So the generic inquiries are across all of Acumatica, right? Purchase orders, projects, service activities, manufacturing. It really doesn't matter. Is that
correct?
Excellent.
Absolutely right. So what I'll do, I'll just select my orders here, and what I'll do, I'll just create a pivot table. Do we have a date? Yes, we do have a date. So what I'll do, I'll just sum the amount per date. And then I've got the account name as rows, and I will have also the requested on date as columns. There we go. And for the date, I want to have it by month or by quarter, let's say. And so I will have the amount, order total, as values. I could also have like a percentage and all that good stuff. And there you go. So right here, I've got the order amount per quarter per customer. And the benefit of using Acumatica to do pivot table is that you have the drill down capability. So if I click on this link, for example, then I have this sales order. It corresponds to that sales order. And I can see right away that I'm late because not only that the status is on credit hold of this customer, but also the date we are late shipping.
So an example, this might be for a sales manager, and she might have it, and then if she has reports, we could have individual saved on their favorites. So we could build these pivot tables and these generic inquiries per individual user that they would save?
Correct. So I can put that into my favorite. So now if I go to my favorite, I have this this generic inquiry.
Fantastic.
The other thing that I want to point out also is that you can also display this pivot table into a dashboard if need be. So on the dashboard screen, we could add that pivot table.
And this itself could be a favorite.
And this itself can be a favorite. So here, when I entering a new widget, the first thing that I need to do on my dashboard is to select what kind of widget I will add, and one of them is a pivot table, as you can see here. And the next step would be to select the generic inquiry.
Great. Well, Eric, this has been fantastic. I think we'll end this Day in the Life series for this. The one thing, of course, if you don't mind, just go back to the generic inquiry itself. And I think we'll point out that, well, how do I get the invoice amount and the balance and the current and the overdue up there? How does one build the generic inquiry in the first place? And I think what we'll do is we'll make that the subject of a subsequent Day in the Life series, because there are many user-friendly aspects to Acumatica, stressing the millennial-friendly piece that allows the user to build these generic inquiries and then to apply widgets and dashboards and side panels and the like to make their daily life much more productive and meaningful or powerful utilizing Acumatica. So, Eric, thank you so very, very much. And viewing audience, thank you very much. We'll take it from there.
Thank you.